Yo, what's up? Oh, arrogant one. I see you have trimmed your mustache somewhat.
Yeah, yeah, I do that once in a while,
And and I see you're in your back home. You're back home in
Yeah,
your attic. Did you
yeah,
miss your
mine.
imaginary brother Rex?
Not really. I mean, we don't speak much, but we are quite close still. We have this sort of Finnish relationship between
Yeah,
each other.
I didn't expect you to think much because I only found out about him last year, and I've known you for about 4 years now, 5 years, and I only found out about some brother that you have named like Rex is a cool name. Like, how would I not know somebody named Rex that is your brother who is
Yeah.
imaginary? So anyway, you're back home. I'm back home. I'm a little tired. My voice is going. I'm probably getting sick. But you know what? There was a badass race this weekend. It was called SilverState. I went to it. I had fun. And you know what? We're going to talk about it this week on this week's podcast because there's nothing else going on. And it was fun. So you know what? We're going to talk about SilverState. But before that, we have to drop that intro.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 188 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keena White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great, and joining me, as ever, is the arrogant one, who people either love him or love to hate him, but he is here in full NNRC uniform Reguero with a trim mustache. It's probably like 90 degrees there, and he's still got a hoodie on. What's up, Maximus? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Been a bit sick, but I've been sort of getting better recently. Been just chilling, taking advantage of finally being on holiday.
Yeah, you're off school. We'll talk about that real quick in our catch up. But before we go on any further, everybody, I just want to shout out and say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world and to everybody that I kind of met this weekend or over the race. I'm sorry if I don't remember your name or if I don't shout you out, but I met so many people and talked to so many people. It's just usual for me that I don't know. I don't remember everybody's name, but definitely good to see the love for the NNRC and what we're doing. A lot of people were asking about Joseph. They were asking about you, why you weren't there, or why Ron Falk wasn't there. But very good to meet all of those people. Thank you guys for the continued support. Met a few people that have been the supporters for a long time, so it was good to see them. Like Captain Carl, good to meet him finally. Shout out to all the Colorado crew that came down. They showed me a lot of love as well. And just a lot of people, man. A lot of people. I don't even have all their names. I like to do shout outs over the weeks after the races. So I remember who I'm shouting out to. But yeah, good stuff. Also, shout out to the patrons of the podcast. We can't do it without you guys. We're gonna do I'm trying to get everything worked out. If you aren't in the Patreon, what is it called? Discord. We have the NNRC Discord, which is growing, by the way. It's almost at 450 members. But we also have a Patreon private channel. And I'm going to start doing some builds. And so I'm going to sit off her and build my Mayako, build something else that I have her. And I'll sit off and talk to the patrons while I do it. Like, they can watch me fumble. I don't know. People said they should build a car live, but I don't think anybody wants to see me using my belly and sticking my tongue out as tools. So that's kind of how I build cars. I use my belly. My tongue's always out. I don't know why. That's how I do it. Anyway, Max, thank you to all the patrons. If you guys wish to be a patron, you can. The link for that is in the written description of the podcast. Thank you guys for all your support. You will get early release of next week's podcast. Also, we can't do this without the awesome companies that support us. And remember, everybody, showing them some love shows the podcast some love. There are affiliate links, coupon codes, everything you need to go support these sponsors. And even if there isn't a coupon link or anything, just shoot a message, say you heard about us, heard about them on the NNRC. And everything's in the written description. They are Invisible Speed, which is out in Spanish now, or coming out in Spanish. I believe Robert Batty is doing all the translations, and he'll be a big part of that. So that's good on the online course. TZO Tires, Nick came for one day, and then he had to go back to work. But Manny was there. So they were in force at SilverState. Shout out to High Tech RC. I see Mike Mabers at Fall and on Jim Joe Knoll. That me and Mike Hill stopped at that. So this is a big Earth like aviation thing that High Tech's at. And when Mike Hill and I were driving to RCGP in 2019, we stopped at this place. It's like in South Carolina. Huge. Probably the biggest RC event I've ever seen. And they were just setting up. Like people just coming in and setting up for the week. So they're there. Shout out to High Tech. TNR Fuels got to hang out and see Chris this weekend. Him and his wife. Shout out to them and Chevelle and those guys. Mayako. Congratulations to Greg Degani on his win this weekend. Beach RC. Thank you to Beach RC for helping me get there. Techno RC. Thank you, Techno. They gave me an MT4 tan, which they bought to SilverState. So I have a monster truck to build, Max. I'm so happy about that. My first real bashing car, you know. So if anybody has any suggestions on a KV motor to put in that 8-scale system, let me know. Body and tires, let me know. Thank you, Techno, for that. Thank you to JQSM and Invisible Speed. That's the same people. G-Spec RC Tuning for all your cabling needs. You get 10% off there. Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, growing really fast. 10% off of them to cure your traction problems. Racecraft USA. I have a tumbler, but I left it in the suitcase. Thank you to those guys. I got a nice cool Racecraft hat. Get pitted with the command module. Clinic RC. Got to hang out with Tony and Vicky again. RCGP. I think Max and I will be on their show next week. Next up for us is Italy. Shout out to RCGP. House of RC. The DR Race Shop. JTP RC. It was good to see Jared Tebow again. And I got to meet RC Kevin. And even though we was like less than 100 meters away, we barely even got to talk the whole weekend. That's how crazy things got at this race.
Yeah.
He was super busy. So remember, everybody, links for all of those awesome companies are in the written description of this podcast. If you are a company, look, and you think this is a great platform to advertise, hit us up. We got rates for everybody. All right, Max. So, yeah, I'm a little bit tired, good buddy. It was, I'm going to say this was the suckiest travel I've had in a while. And nothing went wrong. It was all right. It just sucked. Like, you know what I mean? Getting there sucked. I went on Spirit, but I had no choice. But exactly what happened was we got there. It's like, I've never seen lines so long and take so long to do. Like, we flew into Fort Lauderdale Airport, and it's got to be the most disorganized airport I've ever flown into. Even the Dominican airports are better. Imagine that.
I think that tells a lot already.
Dude, we flew in there, and I don't know, I posted that. Dude, so this is the first time I've flown into I usually fly into Miami or Charlotte, or, you know, was my first destination, or New York. So I've flown into Fort Lauderdale once before. Dude, so in Miami, you go through immigration and customs, and then you go collect your bag and pass it on to your connecting flight. No, not her. You got to go get your shit, all right? Wait on the line. Dude, I'm looking at this line. And I said, people, I have a flight leaving in like 2 hours. It's no way I'm going to, like, yeah, you'll make it. I'm like, what? Dude, I literally just made it to my flight as they were boarding, like, and I'm sweating. You know what I mean? I had to walk outside. This is, you know, I'm walking. It's just I'm fat. I need to walk. So it's okay for me. Hey, I get to the, sit down, and this nice lady next to me sitting over for her husband sees that I'm sweating. I'm asking the stewardess for some napkins, and she gives me this little portable fan. She goes, just use it to cool it on. So that was horrible. So, but anyway, we got there in time. We got everything on time. I got to SilverState, get into the casino and everything. I got in about 12:30 by the time I got there. Then I went downstairs, had a few drinks because I saw like Nick and Wally and all them guys. Nick from TZO. Went down there till about 1:30 and went to sleep. Now coming back, it was completely different. Red eye, flight didn't leave till 11:59 p.m. Monday. Hung out in the hotel all day Sunday. Hung out with Axel in the morning. We went somewhere. First time I left the hotel, we went somewhere to check out something. And then we just hung out. I ended up watching 2 movies in the hotel, like in the cinema. Then catching the 8:45 freaking shuttle to the airport. And I didn't get home till 4 o'clock the next day. I was so tired when I got home. Red eyes aren't too bad. I did go sleep. But fuck. That was some exhausting travel. It exhausted me this weekend. It exhausted me.
Traveling, actually, traveling is the worst part of traveling because, like, I hate airports. Like, you have to always prepare the time. You're always still late for everything. So
I know, and these airlines you have to buy everything. Like Spirit, they didn't even give you a cup of water for free. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck. Anyway, made it. Was there, had fun. We're going to talk about it. You're home. You're going to work in a hobby shop here soon?
Yeah, at the end of the month, I'll be working there for a while, helping them out with the marketing and everything.
All right, cool. So you're off from work, from school until when?
Until end of the month. So I'll be trying to get some practice in. I've been a bit sick recently. But yeah, trying to get some practice in. Our national season will start soon. I mean, Euros and Worlds are coming up quite soon too. So
yeah, you might want to
get
practice.
some practice in.
You might want to practice. All right, Max. I think the only RC news that we have is that there was a 10 scale Euros warm up at Robin Hood Raceway in the UK. This is I'm gonna really enjoy this 10 scale Euros, I think. I like this this Astro track. I enjoyed the last Euros that they had there, but in 2015. But I think it was like Astro and Dirt. This might be the same track. I don't know. It's all Astro now.
I think it's a different track. They used to. Okay. I don't know if it's the same track, but they used to have 2 tracks: an Astro track and then a dirt track. Now they don't have the dirt track anymore. But I don't know if they've transferred that Astro track over that old dirt track, but. Yeah, this will be fully on Astro these Euros.
Right, and it's not a flat. It's like Astro over a track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so, that's how the tracks are always in like UK and even Germany. Most tracks are like this because in America it's mostly just flat ground and you lay Astro and build jumps on top of that. But in Europe, a lot of the Astro tracks sort of have a lot of elevation and off cambers and all that. So it's very bumpy. It's like super bumpy.
Have you ever driven on a track like that? That's like got a Astro or carpet on top of the track, and it's just.
We had one track like that in Finland, but it was mostly on flat. It wasn't as sort of
right. I remember that
aggressive. Yeah.
Well, this is super. It's got like bulls and all this type of stuff. I watched Aiden Burke of Extra Lap Podcast. He was there. Shout out to those guys. And he had some live video up. Do we know who won 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive?
So Michael ended up winning both classes. So yeah, he pretty much dominated. I'm not quite sure. I saw like pretty much the top 5 were all UK people. So Neil and Tommy Hall and I believe there's another Hall as well.
Yeah, so the Hall brothers.
Yeah.
So not well attended by other Euros. You think this is going to be? Yeah, I think.
I mean, the Euros will be big as always, but I think just usually the Euros warm up for 10 scale hasn't been that big of a race. I mean, Jona and Pekko went there, and I believe some of the guys like there must be some people outside, but not a lot of people.
Okay. Well, Max is sleepy. He's yawning on us. All right. So Mikhail Orlowski, congratulations to him. Won it for Schumacher. When are these Euros? Maybe we'll find out that.
They are at the beginning of July, I think. First
Okay.
week of July. So 1 week before like 8 scale Euros.
All right. So also, I thought like even the Americans, but I thought like they were gonna calm down for a little bit, but no, they got a little break. A lot of these guys got like Tebow. I said he has 3 weekends of races in a row. He has 2 weeks or a week of him, and 3 weekends of races. And then even for Europeans, it's starting to pick up because I think it's Buggy Euros at Hootie Arena next week, which is gonna be awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have any coverage. So I don't think
there might be some sort of local people who do it, but I don't think there's any like
that's gonna suck.
Known, coverage of it.
So Ronafog's going, Joseph's going, and I'm sure probably Alex is probably going. I guess I would assume. I'm sure Hampus is probably going. So should be good, but I hope they have some form of coverage, and we can see that. So the European season is starting to kick in because then it's going to be Euros, RCGP. World's warm-ups coming up. What else? Like, I'm sure there's some other races. We got RCGP in UK in August. So these guys got a full. That's one of the biggest questions I got asked at SilverState. Where's Joseph? Where's the Euros? And I just had to explain to people they had a big 6-day long race prior to the weekend prior to this. So budget and just being away from home for so long. And it's been 2 years since we haven't had consistent racing in Europe. So it's like, it's open again. So they got to go. They got to go do this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and SilverState generally hasn't been that sort of race where Europeans come to. Like DNC is the obvious one.
Well, they did the year I went.
Yeah. Some do. But I mean, there isn't Joseph has only done it when he's been Joseph has only done it when he's been in America already, and I don't think David has ever done SilverState, at least not that I remember.
Maybe. Carl McBride's won this race. Elliot Boots has won this race.
Yeah.
So it does get attended.
McBride did it like long time ago.
Well,
when he was still in Boulder.
Elliot Boots won it in the year I went.
2019. 2019, yeah. So
And
there's been
I
some
can't remember when
European
Kyle
and
won it.
actually non-American winners rather. This McBride is Australian.
That year it was I believe Canas, Boots, and Barton were there. And Yao. But DNC has generally been the bigger Euro international race. But to be honest, if I'm an international driver, I would go to this race first.
Yeah, I would too, but the track doesn't look as exciting as DNC.
It doesn't look as exciting, but it is. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk all about that in a second. But you know what? I want to say thank you to these companies because they helped me get to this race. And we're going to go into our SilverState recap. And thank you for Danny Paz. A lot of people complimented me on this intro, but actually Danny Paz made it. So thank you to High Tech RC, TZO Tires, Beach RC, and Invisible Speed for helping me. And of course, the patrons of the NNRC for helping me go to silver. Alrighty, so now Max and I are going to go over SilverState 2022. So a little bit of history before we go on any further about this race. The SilverState is another iconic race. It's been held at about 3 different spots so far that I know of, maybe 4. I believe the first one, it was held at, they call it the Junkyard or something like that. And then it was held somewhere else, I believe. And I actually drove on that track. I practiced on that track. That's where I met Joseph the first time. This is where I first met Joseph. SilverState 2005, Max. He was running Hobao and Nova Rossi engines. And I remember being there with Paul Coleman, my boy Keeman. Linus Stern was there too. And a Chinese guy who was testing, I don't know his name. He was Ming Yang or something like that. He was really good back in the day. And all we guys there, and Joseph was there breaking in an engine. And I remember looking at Paul and saying, so this is JQ? Like, this guy has got all this mouth on the starting grid, but her is quiet as a mouse. Because he's just over there quiet, tuning his engine, like breaking it in and just looking lost. That was back in 2005. And we was at this, not the race was at Boulder, but we was practicing at another track that had the race prior. So, and also this race took place at the RC tracks in Las Vegas, where you went to race for the Worlds, Max.
Yeah, that was like
there.
It's still there and it's unchanged after the Worlds. It just sucks. Like,
it's still fucking drivable though. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
It's
No, I heard people have been driving there.
Yes.
Like, obviously that's a bit of illegal because other people own the facility. But like, people have been there
right
and going out and drive. Yeah, it's dumb that it's like that. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So I think Joey took over this race in 2018. It's been at the South Point Casino and Spa since then. It's in a horse arena, so this is a purpose-built horse arena. It's got bleachers on both sides. It's actually got an outdoor arena. That's where the fifth scales were. And it's got another arena actually over that you can't see. It's a whole nother arena where you can have a whole nother, but there's no bleachers. You know what I mean? And there's no ventilation. So the year that I went, it really sucked. The dust and the smoke and all that stuff. Also, they had 2 tracks going. So I really like the idea. So where we were pitting used to be a track. It's actually dirt there. So people can watch the horses on both sides. You know what I mean? So Joey cleaned up all that dirt. They scooped up all that dirt, and that's all that elevation that you saw at the track. So let's talk about the track right off the bat. All right. So the track. I know a lot of people, even on video, it does not do it justice. Even Joseph was saying to me, it just doesn't look so appealing. But I have to say, I agree on video, it doesn't look appealing because it's like that white sand and you know, it's kind of white tubing and like everything's white there. But to be honest, man, the track is actually really nice. Was really nice this year. I really like the elevation. I like the whoops. The track held up really well. But I also talked to Westergaard, and he said that he rolled. And them guys fix their tracks every night. And Westergaard was was pretty much the main guy doing that every night or every morning. And it's like, I just rolled those face jumps every night and clean. He goes, I wanted people to have a great race, great track to run on. And they did a good job. It got rough, but it didn't get DNC was more blown out.
Yeah, so I think that was surprising because this race usually been like super, super blown out. But I mean, I guess Joseph was right when he said like it doesn't look very appealing because it's like white against white and it's like so dusty and it's hard to see the cars. There's no contrast. But I mean, the layout itself and like how it looked, like the elevation, as you said, and like all the jumps and sections work really nice together. So I think this was like, in my opinion, like the favorite of the SilverState layouts.
But it's the best one I've seen so far. This and then also the watering control, the dust. It wasn't too okay. During the Nitro only days, it was pretty bad. It got bad, but mostly the dust because it's the best way I can describe this is like it's like powder. That's what it is. So also just so people know, like the sandbags. So they had sandbags tying the rope, the tubes on. They can't use any stakes here. They did use stakes the first year, and they got caught. Like they checked and rechecked and everything. They got one stake was found in dirt, and so they were banned from using stakes because this is a horse arena. They don't want any type of metal that could injure horses. We're talking about probably $100,000 horses. You know what I mean, or more.
Yeah. Those things aren't very cheap.
So they have to have these sandbags. It makes it a little difficult because it's like your car doesn't. If you just touch them, your car is just gonna it sucks your car in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people having issues going under and all that stuff, but it's not really nothing that can be helped about that. It's just kind of is what it is. It would be great if they could paint the infield, but they can't do all of that. They can't do that. They can't. They have to leave the sand and dirt as it is. So, was good, man. And then the track grooved up, which I had never really seen.
Yeah, that was
happen
weird.
before.
That was so weird. I don't I don't understand how that could happen because previous years it's been just a huge dust bowl. But this
Mm-hmm.
year there was actually a groove. So yeah, I guess that's down to them like rolling it a lot and just
Yeah,
patting
I
it
think
down.
so. Whatever Anthony was doing worked because it got
Yeah.
hard. The jump faces were hard because I just remember the jump where Mayfield and Tasman got in an incident. And I just remember standing next to him. That's kind of saying, "Fuck the jump face that held up." Because because I rolled that thing a million times last night. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he did that every night. So kudos to the dirt crew and all them guys who did that. It was a lot of work. Um, yeah, and then like pitting on the other side really does stop a lot of the noise, stop a lot of the dirt. Like we was pitting with the first year we met, we was pitting right by where they're staging. So that
Yeah.
sucked. And nobody was pitting there this year. Thank God. Like, you know what, you ain't allowed there. So like where you enter, where all the where they were taking all the pictures and like the entrance, that's where everyone was pitting the year I went. So much
Yeah.
better. They watered a lot. The dust was under control. The fumes, the dust is under control. I mean, it wasn't, perfect, but it was still dusty. But it's
Yeah.
only so much you can do. We're talking about dust that's fine, and whatever. That part of it was fine. The pitting was great. I will say this. I do enjoy having, Joseph will complain and say that there wasn't pit table. There was just plenty of pit tables. There was plenty of chairs. There was a wash place for your tires. There was a compressor, all that stuff for your tires. Plus, people had it because some people were able to bring their trailers in. Like some of the hobby shops had their trailers. Like Clinic had theirs. HRCR, I believe HCRC, which I met. Nice gentleman. Him and his family, very nice people. They were selling. Cody Thompson was selling stuff. Scotty Brewer. So it was a lot of vendors there this year, more than what I saw at DNC, surprisingly. Nobody pitting outside. Now, the year I went, there was people pitting outside. This year, it was just a few fifth scale
but
guys.
I mean, was it now like super dusty? Like were the pit tables like dusty now? Because before it was like you couldn't even pit inside. It was so
No,
bad.
it wasn't that bad. I mean, it did get dusty during the Nitro day,
Yeah.
but that was also the smoke. But it was, I mean, obviously you would get dust, but not like you leave. Like I remember leaving my phone on and then 10 seconds later, it'd be like, dust. No, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad. But you are coughing up dust monies and stuff. I've been coughing up dust and stuff since I got home, but I'm getting better. I'm actually surprised that I'm not really, really sick because a lot of people did get sick. Now, a lot of people probably got COVID, but also I think they got like nitro dust allergy sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm surprised I'm not really that bad. I mean, my voice and my throat's a little scratchy now, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And just convenience. I can't reiterate how convenient this race is. Like, it felt so good to be able to just, I don't have to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning and be there all day. You know what I mean? I would get up mornings, do my work in the mornings, go down to, leave, finish my work up about 9:30, get a shower, go to Starbucks, get up, venti cappuccino. You'll see all the J Concepts people there getting that stuff, and everybody was just kind of laxy. Like, we'll be there when we be there. That's also positive and negatives because then like not everybody's at the track all the time. Like people off doing other things, which is great. You got to do other things. You're in Vegas. Mm-hmm. But at like DNC, you're always at the track, stuff like that. I do miss that part. I do miss the tents and stuff. I do like the tents.
Yeah.
And that way of doing things. I know we can't like have tents in here. Unfortunately, it would be great. I think it'll be better. It'll also help with the dust a little bit. So, but with not having tents and all that, everybody's open. So you see more interaction between people. You know what I mean? Oh, you're going over to this table. Because everybody's so close. You're going over to this table, you're going over to this table, talking to them, because not everybody's kind of locked off on their compounds. So, man, but just convenient. Had a bar there. I hit the bar on Friday with people we was drinking in the afternoon. It was good. Had like tacos and, we can buy food there. And you wanted fresher, you just went outside, went up to your room. But it's so convenient. No car, I didn't need a car. Ubered there. Everything's in the hotel. I'm not a gambler, so it didn't faze me. convenient race. If you're an international racer, this race should be in your list. Like Max said, I know maybe the track and all that stuff doesn't look appealing to you on video, but it's different in person.
Yeah, and the thing why I would like to go to this race is the fact that it's in like Vegas. It's much easier than somewhere in California. So yeah, that would be much nicer. I just wish they had a little bit better dirt, like because it is quite dusty still and all of that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing they can do. They can't bring dirt in. They can't, it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. But they have learned a lot,
Oh,
Each year they're doing things better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's good. Anything else you want to add about the track before that? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, track. I mean, the positives are that it's been getting better every year, and the track was really, really nice. Like previous years, the layout has been pretty dull, and then a lot of the jump phases were so broken up that like people were singling jumps. So now they see none of that happen, which is great. So yeah, positives on the side of the track.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed it. For those who, I'll talk about fifth scale. I'm got a whole little 10 minutes for fifth scale later, because I'm geeking out on that. Let's get right into it. So Wednesday I get there. It's always good to see everybody that you haven't seen. Now that I've been good, this is my third race this year, DNC. Then the funny thing is I saw a lot of people at RCGP were at this race. Like the fast guys like David Olson's, obviously the Bardones, Cole Castens. It was a few people from Decade Burnett, like the Southeast, that made the trip there that were racing at RCGP. And they did pretty well too. I'll talk about those kids in a little bit because they're pretty impressive. But yeah, just, it's always good to come and see people and, just see like your extended RC family. And then I see Barry Baker. He makes a beeline right for me. Like all these people on here, and Barry sees me. And I'm like, what's up, Barry? Max sends his love. Oh my God. Every time I saw Barry, it was, you came up. You tell Max I said this. You tell Max I said that. And I'm like, I said, Max loves you though. I said, I want to come on the podcast with Max. I said, yeah, I would love that. So there's your nemesis, Barry Baker. I got another story about that. Maybe we'll talk about 40 plus. That was funny too. All right, let's get into the racing. But before that, it was just great to see everybody. I really enjoyed that part of RC, and I'm looking forward to going to Italy and meeting different people from Europe and all that type of stuff. So racing, let's get into the racing side of things. So this year also, I knew this was going to happen. So we'll talk about this in our negatives / positives, hit or misses, but entry people and all that type of stuff. So the DNC SilverState Joey's races are a little different from any other races. They're longer. Practice is Wednesday. Nitro Buggy, E-Buggy and Nitro Truggy on Thursday qualifying. Friday qualifying for Nitro Buggy. And the same Saturday, Nitro E-Buggy mains, and Nitro Buggy mains and E-Truggy mains on Sunday. This year, Joey did something different, or Jimmy did something different. So they followed suit that PMB or Race Time does, and they actually had the A mains for the pros earlier in the day, even though it was still kind of late, you know what I mean, for Europe and for East Coast. But with that many entries and that many people, they got them done, which I liked because it sucked wait until the end of the day to watch it, even, so even though I stayed there all day on Sunday. But yeah, so they had people were upset because there were so many entries. There were 1,000 plus entries, 400 was 1,030 entries, and there were 403 people. So, they were, their goal was to beat PMB, and they did. And then they didn't even include the entries from the fifth scale track, right? So they did beat PMB in entries, but they didn't beat PMB in number of people. Probably by the time they included the fifth scale track, yes. But they also have longer time to get this race in. While people were upset because I think their practice time got knocked from 7 minutes to 4 minutes, I think it was. or 6 minutes, I think practice is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And you don't get much practice at this track. So that was one upset. I think everybody was generally upset about that. But I think at the end of the day, everybody was still happy to be out of there at 11 on Friday night, on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and the fact is that when you go to race like this, you can't have that attitude that I need this much track time and I need this and this and this. Like, that's not what these events are for.
Right. Yeah, you get equal. You get as much if you pay for classes, but nobody, it's no standing in lines waiting for practice and all that type of stuff. You have heats and all that. You go in your heats. All right. Let's go over anything you wanted to talk about qualifying real quick. So qualifying, let's look at that. So
Cavalieri.
Yes. All right. Okay. So let's talk about the Cav, the GOAT, who on our last podcast, we literally had him packed up and leaving RC, right?
Yeah.
Literally, we said that. And I had to go say that and even Tebow said, yeah, Cavalier's struggling right now.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I went to Tebow and I said, shit, we said he was struggling and look what happens. And he goes, I know, but he was struggling. He has been struggling. Yeah. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing, it's interesting that it happened just now, like week after we had that podcast, and now he TQs Pro Buggy.
I think
like it's crazy that it happened just now, but I mean, I'm very happy to see that happen. And yeah, clearly he's trying to sort of fix, like he knows he's struggling and he's trying to change things, and it's working at least in the qualifiers. So I was so happy to see him being TQ. Yeah. And then like Tebow posting a picture of like him and Mayfield and Cab of like after the third Truggy qualifier where they all finished within 1/10 or something crazy. Like that's so crazy to see too. Like I loved all of that.
Yeah. Well, me too, dude. And then he came, and then in the Truggy final, it was like Ryan. It was Cav, Mayfield, Tebow, like pulling away from the pack. And I was like, how many times have you seen this? You know what I mean? And then I think Mayfield flamed out in his Truggy man, and then he still came fifth. But yeah, Cavalieri, I want to say career saving weekend for him.
I mean, not yet, I think, but I mean, if he keeps this direction up, I mean, definitely, yeah, because like now it's like suddenly he's back to his like where he should be, fighting for the wins and TQing and like he's he got right up there with Tebow and Mayfield.
Yeah, so going into Pro Nitro Buggy, your top three were Ryan Cavalieri, Spencer Rifkin, Ty Tasman, Jared Tebow, not too far behind. He had a 3 and 2 5s. Ryan Mayfield, same thing, like just doesn't need to be TQ, doesn't need to win, but he just gets a solid 3 and a 5. Mason Fuller in 6, 7 and 4. I'm looking at Pro Nitro Buggy qualifying, by the way. And then the biggest surprise I would say would be Taylor Sontag for me.
Yeah, and not only the fact that he made the main straight out, but the fact that he ended up finishing 6th. Like he like usually when like a young driver makes the big main, like especially like because Taylor hasn't made like mains this big, especially on the East Coast. The West Coast. Like he's made some mains in the East Coast, but never in the West Coast, I think. And when he makes a big main like this, oftentimes you just like end up overdriving or not focusing enough, and you end up breaking or finishing last. But he actually had a really, really good main and ended up finishing 6th. So to me, that's super impressive.
Yeah. Let me see who else in Nitro Buggy. Dakota Fenn, kind of a like lackluster. He did have a 0, and then that win saved his ass because he had a 15 and a 32 after that.
Yeah. He but I mean, I don't want to be too negative, but this is just the fan we sort of have at the moment. Like he's exactly like this. He can TQ and then be wherever. And that's exactly how his car is set up. I mean, Cavalieri is, as a driver, much more consistent, so he won't be having this, like sort of 0 and then 15. And I bet like Fenn had some issues as well. It wasn't just, like he was crashing or something.
But in Truggy, I'll talk about that. In Truggy, I know what happened.
Yeah, but I mean, Fenn, but again, this isn't Fenn's race, you know.
Well, he was up there for a minute. People that didn't do well in Nitro Buggy qualifying: Ryan Lutz, 17th, Tyler Jones, 19th, CJ Jellin, 23rd, Jared Wiggins too, kind of having not a great year so far. Stephen Harris and Brandon Rose will not be happy about being in 27th and 28th. Mind you, though, I know that I don't know what happened with Steve, but I know Brandon had some mechanical issues.
Yeah. Brandon's been looking really good this year. Mostly in hard grip, though. I guess he's like practicing at Thornhill and all that. He's been looking, especially when the track gets hard grip, he's looking super fast.
Well, he was fast all week, and then he was leading his C main, because he's in the C main, in a comfortable bump position way ahead of everybody, and then he had a nut on the Ackerman plate come out and end his day.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate for him. All right, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to just go over the races real quick? Let's go over Nitro Truggy real quick.
Yeah.
Probably the best race that I watched this weekend because it was very close. You know what I mean? So, and it's
even down to the last lap. Like Mayfield was just a few meters behind before closing the line.
Well, what happened with Mayfield and what happened with a few of the Truggies was something in the ambient temperature changed and guys were having flame out issues, it looked like. So even Mayfield, who hasn't had a flame out in a long time, he flamed out and he came back and finished 5th. Yeah, that's because he's Mayfield and that's what Mayfield does.
Yeah.
Simple as that. But had he had that, he would have had no issue being up there in the top main. But Tebow, Ryan Cavallari, and Fenn was there too, right? So Fenn was in 4th and was in 1st. And you know what happened to him? I saw it on the lap before. He would come around off those whoops and his car wouldn't turn. It was just going straight. And I was like, man, this is having some radio issues. So then it figured it out, and then it went again. He did another lap, and he came around to that same exact spot, and that's when it went. And then it just pulled it off, and he said his receiver went in Truggy.
Yeah.
So he was fast.
Well, that's just bad luck. Yeah, but I mean, like the thing with Fend is like you can always say he was fast. Like if he DNFs, if he crashes too much, if anything happens to him, he's always fast. Like, but that's the thing about him. You can never be like, oh, Fenn was having an off weekend. Well, he doesn't really have off weekends if you just look at his speed. But if you look at his results, that's the only sort of judge you have of him. Right. So he's really hard to judge in that sense.
So in this sense, we can't even blame him. It was a mechanical failure, electrical issues.
Oh, for sure.
That was done. It was done. You know, and then that left Cavallari and Tebow to battle. And I have to say, man, Tebow's truck looked money. Like it looked great. Cav's truck looked okay, looked good too, but not like Tebow's truck. You know what I mean? And he went out there on like, I want to say long wear impacts, I think. Or super, or I can't remember exactly the compound he went out on, but his tires looked brand new. His car looked great out there. He drove a great race.
Tebow,
and I was
Tebow looked great, like on Truggy and Buggy both. He looked very comfortable. Just and Truggy, he made it happen.
Right. Yeah, he did. I mean, they literally like it was Cavallari kind of settled for a second, I think, at that point, because he wasn't first. And they battled it out. But I think I just think he said, all right, I'll take second. And I'll be happy with that. You know what I mean? That's worth it. Ty Tasman and Spencer Heckert had a great battle for 3rd and 4th. I have to give Ty some credit. He had a great weekend. Not the weekend that he probably wanted, because he would want to win. But Ty is definitely putting some of the strong. He was getting 9-minute pits this weekend too in Buggy, by the way.
Yeah.
So he was the other guy that was getting 9 minutes. So he was pretty happy about 3rd place in that. And I guess Spencer Heckert would be good with 4th, I would say.
Oh, 100%. I think
that's a good run for him.
I mean, especially taking the fact that he did pretty well in Buggy too. Like he made straight to the main, I believe, if I'm not wrong. And usually Truggy has been his strong class. So, but yeah, now finishing high up in both, that's great for him.
Yeah, Ryan Mayfield, like I said, Ryan Mayfield in 5th, but he did have a flame out. Spencer Rivkin, let's see what happened to him. Did he have issues or was he just off? He looked good all weekend and then like just had issues in the main. He wasn't happy in E-Truggy too. Aiden Horner would be happy with making the main and Truggy and finishing 7th, Tanner Danny 8th. Tyler Jones 9th, qualified 6th. I hate to say this about Tyler Jones because I like him, but I'm still waiting for him to set the world on fire.
Yeah, he's been in my books like quite underwhelming this year because like last year, you remember he qualified I believe 2nd at DNC in Pro Nitro Buggy, and in Truggy he broke like in the very first like lap, and like he had those points where he was way up there, but then like something always happened, like bad luck or just a bad start or whatever. But this year I haven't really seen him even being up there, so it's been quite underwhelming.
Yeah, I think he also flamed out in this race too. So he was having flame out issues. I think Seth flamed out. Ryan Lutz had flame out issues, and he told us that. Like, you know what I mean? Mason Fuller wouldn't be too happy with his finish. What did he have? He had a flame out too, or a mechanical on lap 54. So that put him back. But I mean, it's Truggy, but it's the first big main of that race. So I guess people, they want to do well. Well, congratulations to Jared Tebow. Great win for him. Great win for Techno. He did well, man. And that pumps you up. You know what I mean? He was pumped after that. He was super happy. Graham was happy because, I think this is Graham's first win maybe with Tebow. But, yeah, good stuff, Tebow. I was like, all right, because he won Truggy last year, right? This is the exact same thing that happened last year, except that he won Truggy last year. So I was like, can we now get Nitro Buggy? So, yeah, congratulations to him. Congratulations to Spencer. And, it was a good Nitro. It was the best race, 45 minutes on the main. It wasn't a runaway. It was a close race, all race. And the same two guys put on a show that, we've gotten used to seeing from. So kudos to those guys. All right, so E-Buggy was next. I did not stay for this. I decided to go up to the room and actually do some work that night. So I was very happy that I did because I've got a lot done. And I just watched this. I was roommating with my buddy Les Crenshaw, so we just watched this on the TV. The other convenient thing of being in a hotel, it's on the TV. You just go to a channel and it's there.
Yeah.
So you could just watch this. Oh, my race is coming up in 3 heats, so let me get ready. So we went on. We watched this. Ryan Lutz led this from start to finish. Super happy for Ryan Lutz.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like I would love to be, and I am like super pumped for him. When I saw Ryan TQ'd and won, I'm like, yes, like finally he's getting the win. But it's like still I'm kind of torn because like in Truggy and Buggy he struggled, had some issues, all that. But then like this amazing result, like dominating win in E-Buggy. Like I'm super happy for him, and I've been waiting to see sort of him do and perform at this level, which is great. But I'm still kind of like, I want to see this happen in like Nitro classes.
He does too. He does too. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. He does too. Went up and talked to him afterwards. He told me straight up, and we did an interview. You can check that on YouTube. He said, yeah, we're testing a prototype engine, 5-port engine this week, and it's just giving us issues. And he's like, I thought it was good enough to come to the race, and I was wrong. So that was the issue. But his E-Buggy was pretty interesting. He also talked about that. He had a new lighter motor from, I guess it's new, from Tekin. He used 2 small shorties on either side. And he says, this is my E-Buggy light version, because it was lightweight. That was the sort of thing to get as light as possible. It looked damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the Kyosho setup of the E-Buggy where the batteries are on the side really calms the car down, and super low center of gravity too. That helps him a lot, especially now that the track is bumpy and he wasn't too, like, it was quite high speed still. Wasn't like that low speed. So yeah, that's good for lots. But yeah, I'm just super happy to see him perform, and the fact that he's driving Kyosho, like, because you don't see that anymore. Like it's him and Savoya. Those are, I mean, Joao sometimes.
Yeah.
But
But they had the
then
Kyosho Masters this past weekend too. I forgot to talk about that. But they had that in France.
Yeah. But yeah, just see Lutz winning. That's a big deal for me. I like that. And seeing him like wins because this isn't like he hasn't won a big race like this in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like
no, he hasn't.
Like with Agama, last big race I remember him winning was like DXR. That's already like almost 3 years ago.
Right. In second, so congratulations to Ryan Lutz. Always glad to see him win. In second was Ryan Mayfield and Ty Tasman. And Ryan took the lead on this controversial pass, which we're going to play. Bear with us, people. It might be a bit laggy. So this is, they got 41 seconds left. And this is Mayfield up front and Ty Tasman in the back. Tasman gets him in the whoops right there.
Yeah.
Gets a little squirrely and then knocks him. Now, let's see that again. When I first saw this, I still think, and to this day, I still think it's a kind of a racing incident. But when I first looked at it, I thought it was Mayfield.
But I mean, come on, like Mayfield clearly just taps him here. I don't know.
Yeah, but you can see. Look, let's go back. Ty, I wish I could slow this down.
Yeah, but this is good. So because Ty holds his line kind of.
Yeah, but he's very into that way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ty turns in like right here.
Yeah. You're probably actually now that you slow it down, it's so, more.
Okay, there's Ty. Incident. Ty's turning in right there, and Cavalier's holding his line.
Yeah.
So
Ty kind of loses his rear end, and then you can see actually better now that you slow it down. When we first watched it, I was like pretty sure Mayfield tapped, but actually, Ty loses the rear end, and then Mayfield just holds his line and taps him a bit.
Now, I kind of when I watched this, I'm like, is Mayfield gonna wait? Is he gonna wait? But now that I look at it and slow it down, I think it's a racing incident. But
it is. It's if you're a driver from Ty's perspective, that's super annoying that you just slightly get your front wheels there, because then if you're in front, you can't make any mistake and you're getting tapped out. But if you're with the car from behind, you're not really doing anything wrong. You're just kind of driving annoyingly. You just have your front tires there sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
by the way, people,
no penalty in my. If I was the judge and saw that replay, I would give no penalty.
Yeah, and by the way, people, we do not earn this content. This is all live RC content. I pay my $5 a month, and I just go on there and I go to whatever man I want to watch. By the way, so go pay the $5 a month. Congratulations, Lutz. Unfortunate incident between Mayfield and Tasman. Gord was super heated. Oh man, I went to talk to him the next day. Yeah. The next day I saw him and I was like, what happened? Because I wasn't there, and he was just like, oh man. I can see his point too. Like I can see, he's saying, "Oh, Ty was going over." I think they obviously looked at, come on, let's be honest. Like Mayfield and Tasman are kind of been like button heads for many years. You know what I mean? Oh, but Gord was heated. I talked to him. He stopped, like he was walking across and said, "Hey, what happened?" And he goes, "He stopped for like 5 minutes and told me what happened." And I never seen Gord get upset. And while I'm looking at Gord, I'm looking at his beard and just saying, how does Gord have more black hair in his beard than I do? Seriously.
Yeah.
Because while I'm listening to him, I'm noticing his beard. I'm saying, how does this man have less gray hair than me in his beard?
Yeah.
And he's older.
And they race a lot too. And they have to fly everywhere because they're from Canada.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, but back to the sort of incident. I like the way Mayfield sort of drove that sort of spot. That's super annoying. If you're the driver in front, driving like that is so annoying because you have no space to go to. Really, you have to go offline all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it's not like Mayfield didn't really take Ty out because Ty lost his rear end and started to close the line just to catch the rear end again. So yeah, it's a racing incident, but I mean Mayfield could have avoided it, give him some more room to Ty, but yeah, it is what it is, and I think that's fair. I don't see any blame in there.
Well, yeah, I think they were good. I also interviewed Ty and Mayfield, yes, on on Nitro Buggy Day, and I asked them about it, so you guys can check that on YouTube as well. But I think they were good, but I definitely think Gord was not happy with it, and he was saying that Ty was using that line going close that whole time. That was his line.
Yeah, that's the issue also with like the tracks who get rough and the jump faces. If they wear out this time, it didn't much, so you had more room. But if like the lines are very narrow, it's hard to race against other cars because you have to like hit your perfect line where there's no bumps.
Yeah.
So racing against other cars becomes much harder.
Yeah, Gord said he didn't even like Mayfield came over to talk to him right afterwards, and he didn't even want to talk to him. That's how heated they were. So that's good though, because I mean, you know, Gordon and Mayfield have bumped heads before, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all good, but I love that fiery stuff. Let's see, quick results, real quick. Ty Tasman third, Mason Fuller, good fourth for him.
Yeah.
Mason probably should have, probably could have finished second, you know, if he had pushed the issue.
But interestingly, like the best class for Mason this year has been Nitro Buggy, which is like the best way like to have like your best class.
Right, because he actually has a win in Mason in Pro E-Buggy from last year.
Yeah, last year he did pretty well in E-Buggy, but Nitro Buggy was sort of here and there. But this year it's been like podiums after podiums pretty much in Nitro Buggy. And he other classes he's been there, no doubt. But like Nitro Buggy has been his like spotlight class pretty much.
Yeah. Fend in fifth, Jared Tebow in sixth. Not probably what I was expecting out of Tebow, out of Teebs. He was looking good in qualifying. Spencer Heckert from 15th and bumping up to 7th. That's good.
Yeah.
I guess. And who else? Rivkin, like I said, looked fast all week and then has not done so good. Yeah. Little bump, making the main, finishing 12th.
Both sort of electric classes he did quite well with winning the E-Truggy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know he has time, but we want to see him do well in Nitro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's in C main for Nitro. Still 11 years old. He has time. But, yeah, Cole Ogden was in her. He finished 12th. Kyle Turner from NorCal. I got to give it to him. Bumped up from the B main. NorCal racer, really good, drives X-Ray. Good to see him up there. But Jackson Bronson 11th. So, yeah, not so good of not as good as the Nitro, you know, Lutz running well, it was a pretty good race for second and third, but Lutz, just super pumped for Lutz. Good job. E-Buggy paying the bills for him. So that's Nitro Truck and E-Buggy out of the way. Now, I know everybody says we hate on those classes, but if you ask the pros, they care about Nitro Buggy too. That's all they care about. Yeah. So, you know, like the big enchilada is Nitro Buggy Sunday. So Sunday race starts. I kind of go to a different spot for once. Now, I've been watching the race from the bleachers this whole time, so I go over to where the jumper where 5 made it, where Little Bump made his pass. So I was watching from there, and I got some video from there, and I was hanging out with like Carlos Arredondo and watching the race from the track. Dude, I'm going to tell you, at first, when they first started, I thought it was going to be a race. I was like, yeah, it's like, I think it was like, let's see, let me bring up, do we have to start her? Maybe we can start it and show what it looks like. But I was like, yeah, you know, look, I have nothing against Ryan Mayfield. I just want to see a race. Like, you know, I can't explain it no other way besides the fact that I want to see a race. The story was
pretty tight, like Cavalieri, Rivkin, Tasman was up there. Mm-hmm. Same with Tebow. The Mayfield picked up a bit. Cavalieri fell down. There was quite a few, like, even Bornhorst, Fenn stepped in there a bit. And
look at RC Kevin. I just noticed that
too.
See, the difference was. Yeah. So just for people to know, you can sit on one side of the stadium, like one side of the bleachers. If you sat on this side, you can only really see this side of the track. If you sat on this side, you can only really see this. I was standing right here, and I was able to see both sides.
Yeah.
So this is the start of the Pro Nitro Buggy main. I guess that, we had a mistake there. That's Fend out front. Is it? Or Cavallari up front.
Cavallari up front.
When did he flame out? Let's see.
He was quite deep into the race. I think he was in 5th or something when he
Really?
flamed out. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So started the race. Cavallari is out to first. How long did he hold on to first for? Let's see. He held on for it for 3 laps, and then he fell back to 5th. Then it looks like he had his flame out on, I don't know. Let's see.
I don't know if he had a flame out, but I mean, he fell from 5th to 11th. So
I don't
I'm
really
pretty
see
sure
a flame out here unless he. Okay, there we go. He flamed on lap 61, but he was in 15th.
But I mean, he had some
5th.
issues. Yeah, he had some issues here where he was like, he dropped from 6th to 11th, then climbed back up to 5th, and then again dropped down to 13th. So I mean, Cavallari didn't have a good main.
No,
but I mean,
and then
it's still better than not being in a main, to be honest. And
yes,
the fact
that's
that
true
he
too.
DQ'd is good.
That's true too. At first I thought Ty had something for Mayfield. I did, but then I'll tell you when I knew Mayfield was in his end. So up there where Fi made his jump, I was standing right here. In fact, you probably can see me up here. Maybe I'm not there yet. Let me see. Maybe I watched the start, then went up there. I can't remember. Bego, he was doing a great job. Okay, I'm not up there yet. I'm probably walking my fat ass up there. Oh, there's nobody up there.
Oh, he got stuck on one of those sandbags, Cavallari.
Ooh, that was a hard section. That's probably why Tasman was trying to go to the left of that. So they wouldn't end up in those sandbags. So right up in that spot where Fi was jumping, the guys were jumping and sending it up there. And there was a hole right there where everybody was landing. Like you can't see it, but like right where Bego is kind of standing near the inside. It was about 1.5 feet off the pipe. Like right there.
Yeah.
There'll be a hole. Dude, it was a crater. I knew Mayfield was going to win this because I watched him be able to jump his car and put it 1.5 feet in between that space between the crater and the freaking pipe. And this is from the furthest part away of the track you can be. This isn't like, and I just watched him and I just watched his car stay in that line. And it didn't even look like Mayfield was driving hard.
Yeah. But that's how he always does. He doesn't even look like he's pushing, and he's still going faster than everyone and leading and making a gap. It's getting kind of boring at times, but
I know it does. And I'm like, oh, I want these guys to look. I have nothing against Mayfield. I just want to see tighter racing. I thought Fenn was going to do it at first, but then I just saw him like blowing out big time. It's funny because the TLR cars look great during qualifying, but then it came to the mains and it just was something was off.
Yeah.
Something he was.
Yeah. Hard to say what it is, but I mean, just struggling. They have the speed, but they just can't sort of drive like Mayfield, just calm and keep their laps together.
Right,
they have to push the car.
That's what it seemed like to me. Like Fenn was really pushing hard and just made more mistakes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Did he retire?
Rivkin's actually looking pretty good here.
I'm telling you, dude, Rivkin was fast all week.
Yeah, but it's weird because he like even SIC the start of the year, he looked much faster than Mayfield, and then he would just have these sort of moments where he just loses it. Like Mayfield just keeps the same speed up all main long, no mistakes, no nothing, no extra stuff. Whereas Rivkin, like, he's looking better, but then he makes some weird mistakes here and there, like some touching pipes or like just concentration errors. That's my sort of feel of it.
All right, let's take this down. All right, so let's look at our SilverState mains. Let's talk about our disappointments and whatnot. All right, so you had. Let's look at the. Hold on, let me turn this off. Let's look at the results. So, Aiden Horn and Jackson Brunson were your 2 bumps. So, by the way, they took 13 and 2 out of this. Ryan Mayfield, he backed it on a lot as well near the end of the race too. So he just won by 7.3 seconds, but trust me, it probably could have been a lot more than that. He he kind of backed it on a lot and went from there. Mason Fuller, not too far behind Ty Tasman, 2.5 seconds. I think he even said in his interview, he just said, decided to take it easy and not push it and settle for third again. I was like,
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, like we got to be honest here. Like Tasman is looking good, and Fuller, like
it's only a
going
matter of
into the
time.
worlds, like actually, like Tasman, Fuller, these two are looking like the second and third best. Obviously, Fend is there, but in terms of, like whole year consistency, like these two are looking like after Fend, Mayfield, like the guys from America.
Yeah, because I mean, even in our NNRC Cup, I think they finished quite close, didn't they? Or
Yeah.
no?
So yeah, actually, should we talk about it now? Just like
Yeah, let's
go
do
through the
that.
cup.
Let's bring it up.
So so yeah, it's just like Mayfield, Fend, and Born Horst in third, but he sort of stepped like he had a very good DNC and then pretty good PMV, but his nats weren't that great. This race wasn't that great. I mean, he did really well at RCGP, so I guess he's just like a bit of a sort of finding his place. But yeah, Fuller in fourth and Tasman fifth, then Rivkin. So even the points sort of show that like these are the guys that really can be consistent and have good results.
Yeah, by the way, if you guys don't know what the NNRC Cup is, it's one of Max and I's brainchild. It's a virtual series. It's using DNC, SilverState, DNC, Nationals, PMB, and then the final race is SilverState. And Ryan Mayfield wins again because he won 3 of those races and came second and won. And then Dakota Fenn won, but he had, he just inconsistent, like a 15 and a 15.
Ryan could have skipped the Nats and still won.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
Hold on. So
insane.
Fenn got a 15 and a 15? Oh, right, because that
yeah, that's points. So that's a fourth and a fourth.
Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe we should put the points or the positions. All right, dude. So I went up to Mayfield and said, dude, all these guys gonna beat you. He says I can be beat. Max, what do these guys got to do to meet Mayfield? Because I'm gonna tell you, going into qualifying, it was like 7 C-Hub cars. I'm not gonna lie, I was all on C-Hub cars nuts because I was like, these pillow wheel cars aren't working out there. And then Mayfield goes out there and just kicks ass.
Yeah, I mean, this track should be better for C-Hub. And I mean, Fuller done great. Dakota done all right. But yeah, I mean, most of these cars like on the top are pillowable though. But yeah, but it's hard to say because like when it's the level of Mayfield and Tasman and Fend and these guys, I don't think it really matters if it's C-Hub or pillowable. Like,
okay.
Not really. Like, yeah, some tracks it might. Definitely when it's like a smooth 10 scale type of track, it definitely favors like TLR and Fend. But like when it's sort of not a perfect track for anyone, then it doesn't really matter. And this track isn't like it's slow speed, but then it's bumpy and it's like still hard packed, but it's like very dusty. So it doesn't really that sense prefer any type of car per se.
Yeah, word. It was definitely word. Definitely when the track was on impacts and all that type of stuff, that's when like Tebow and all them guys were good.
Yeah.
The JC guys weren't as good, it seemed like. And then once the track grooved up, I think like the JC guys went on reflexes. And then like the best guy on AKA who won his race was Dagani, and he went on double ons. And he was the last race of the week.
Yeah, the double down is like the only AK tire that works when it's like grooved. When he grooves out, like impact are really not that good. And
yeah. So guys, like, all right, so we'll talk about that in a minute. I wanted to go over those few classes real quick. So surprises for me: Tater Sontag, 6th in Pro Buggy.
Oh,
I think he finished. 100%. He finished 6th. Great. This is the kid that's gonna take Cavalera's place. Simple as that. Like, it's no talk about it. Like when the time comes and Cavalera's got to leave Losi, which is going to happen, this is who they're going to have there as his replacement. I'm pretty sure of that. Spencer Heckert, he was the pride of S-Works. I think he made every main.
Yeah, he was the best S-Works in every class, I believe.
I believe S-Works won an award for having the most cars in mains though.
Okay, yeah. Well, that
overall,
I mean that's Bornhorst, him, and then
Danny.
Yeah,
And
Danny,
Camden
sure,
Line
yeah,
wasn't.
so third, three.
So Camden Line wasn't too bad. So the funny, I don't know if I should say this, but it's funny because it happened. Because rough driving was a thing. I said, Camden, what? He was so pissed off. Tim was getting so pissed. What happened to you? I don't want to say the driver's name, but it was so funny how he said it. He said, I got Steve harassed. So like they went over and talked to, I think his dad was upset at Steve. So they had him and Camden was too. Camden's actually doing a lot better now. Gotta give him some props. He's doing a lot better. His things are starting to come together.
He's doing all right, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to sort of judge him because some races he does really well, some races he doesn't. Sometimes I think like he's not even really that into RC anymore. So
yeah, he has choices. He's kind of, and that I think he's still into it. He looks like it, but yeah. All right, hitting obviously Ryan Lutz's nomination. We're gonna talk about Little Bump winning against Joe Bornhorst in a minute. Our hit and miss, Brandon Rose unlucky with mechanicals. We said Tyler Jones. We talked about Ryan Lutz, Aiden Horn back in the A, hit or miss. Yeah, but Aiden Horn has a long career ahead of him. Simple.
Yeah, and the thing why I don't really put any pressure on Aiden on 8 scale is because he's number one, he's a 10 scale guy. Number two, his second place finish at last year's nationals. That track suited him, super smooth, sort of technical high speed still. So everything sort of suited him at that race, and he made the best out of it. But he's a guy who focuses number one on 8 scale, and he still has time to do that. So I don't really have any pressure on him to do too well on 8 scale. But it's good to see him now making sort of A mains, both Chuggy and Buggy.
Well, he was doing this last year too, making A mains. It just took longer.
Yeah.
Who else do we have hit or miss? Cole Ogden, man. I know people I don't think Cole's too happy with what I'm saying, but I mean it's the truth. Struggling.
Yeah, right now he's the 4th best HP driver.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. Like I like Cole and I want him to do well, and I keep saying this. But it's like, I don't know. It's like, I didn't even watch him that much at this race, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what's happening. Like, what is he doing wrong? Like, I don't because he doesn't even if he was that he was just having mechanicals, you'd be like, okay, so he's doing poor preparation. But sometimes he just doesn't have the speed. Like he's qualifying in the B, not even qualifying straight to the A's. Not even crashing that much, just it's just level has dropped down quite a bit. Just
I don't know,
weird.
Dude. I have no
it's
freaking
unfortunate
idea.
Because last year's Nats we were like, okay, this is gonna be the guy who can maybe beat Mayfield one day, and now he's we're like, okay, maybe he can make it back to the A's one day. So
it's
that's a big leap downwards.
Really crazy. It's crazy, man. I don't understand it, to be honest. I don't understand.
I hope he gets it together, though. I mean, because he when he's on it, he has his potential and he has his speed.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So,
when he's on it, he has lots of potential and his speed. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. Hit or misses of SilverState. If you agree with us or not, let us know in the comments. I wanted to go on a few things. Do we want to talk about freaking Little Bump's awesome pass?
Yeah.
Because I actually just uploaded it. So congratulations to Little Bump, man. This kid is awesome. He's gonna be a pro driver at some point in his life. Dagani says 10 years time he'll be killing everybody here. I say 5 years time, but I think Dagani's real life thing of I give him 17, 18, around the age of Mason Fuller is when he'll really be a killer. You know, he's not not just fat. He's gonna be a killer.
Yeah, I mean, David Ronnefolk won his first Euros at I think 15 or 18, somewhere in there. So that's sort of the gap where I'd expect Fee to be.
You think Fee can do it in 5 years? He's 11 now.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Why not? I mean, he's already racing against these guys, and it's not like he's like just barely made it and is able to race against these guys who was having a bad weekend. No, he's like Bornhorst wasn't having like a bad weekend or anything, and he was like properly racing him, and he just straight up beat him. So yeah.
All right, so here's the immaculate pass. That's what we're gonna call it, because it was. So let me tell you about this. I don't know why, but I watched this race from the start to the finish. So this race had a lot of things. So first, freaking, I'll talk about that. But I was on pins and needles watching this race the whole time. Like, I was rooting for Little Bump so bad. And I'm like, I should get my camera out. I'm like, no, if I got my camera, I'm going to miss something. Because, you know, you're videoing the camera, you don't see what's actually happening.
Yeah.
In live real time. And I watched him every time he got closer to this jump. I was like, he's going to send it over that and beat Bornhorst. Watch. So he was just pressuring him like, all right, Bornhorst, send it. Woohoo. Dude, when he did that, the whole freaking crowd jumped up and screamed. I literally flung my phone out of my hand. I was so excited. My fat ass jumped up, belly going all over the place. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, let's see that again because it's so awesome. Now,
yeah,
a lot of people thought that Joe was mad and trying to do stuff to Fee at first. And I thought so too. Like I said, wow, well, Bornhorst really wanted to win that. But when I saw the smile and laughter coming off Bornhorst's face after that, I knew there was no malicious or nefarious intentions with that. I think he just kind of got behind Fee right there and bumped him and actually helped Fee. And then, dude, like Scotty was so out of breath, he came running up there. Where's Fee? That was the best. You know, Scotty was excited. Like, and I was just up there super excited about this. But I wanted to show something here. I don't know if we should do it, but Rivkin got blasted in the beginning of this race. Like,
he did.
Blasted. We need to show this. Does it happen here? Because I think it's in first. Fi's in first.
So now he's dropped back already.
All right, so let's go back to the start.
Go back. Yeah, so now Rivkin's in first.
There it is. Let me see if we can see it. Hold on, it's buffering a bit. Let it play.
Yeah.
So this is, by the way, congratulations to Fi. Super pumped for him. Future of RC right there. It's not if he sticks to RC, this kid's gonna be a champion. Simple as that.
Oh yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Little incident. So there's that. Like, so let's talk. There's a lot of little internal beefs and stuff going on in this whole race that I'm kind of learning. I learned a little bit at DNC. There's so many little beefs. There's like beefs between this person and this person. It's so undercover. You know, you heard people saying everything. So when this happened to like Spencer Rivkin, like where I was sitting, the whole crowd went crazy and was happy for this. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I know it messed up his race because like it was loud. It was super loud. Where is it? Hold on. All right, I think it's buffering enough. So are you watching, Max? Did I have it?
So
they didn't have it. So, okay, you can't really see. Well, I have a clear view of it. So that white truggy comes up, jumps, and then just jumps right into Rivkin and sends him off her.
Is that Jackson Brunson?
No, it was Joey Bardon.
Oh, Bardon was second?
Yeah, because he was in this main. And he was actually really sick. And I talked to his dad. His dad's like, that's not how he drives. I was like, that's all right, man. It was an accident. But I don't think Bardon waited. He's like, I'm not waiting. And I think this pissed off Rivkin. And like when that happened, dude, like where I was, everybody went, whoa, like crazy, like excited. And I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
These guys don't want to see Rivkin lose, like, you know.
Yeah.
But it was an unfortunate incident. I don't think Joey Bardon did it on purpose. I think it was just a racing incident, kind of. It's not a clear. When you saw it, like her, because I was sitting like right where that turn marshal is. So I was like right on this lane. So I had a clear view of it. When I saw that, I was like, ooh. I didn't know who it was at first, but I was like, ooh, Rivkin is not going to be happy about that. And he was not. He had a pretty angry interview, they said. But I mean, he wants to win, and to win, you gotta do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Truggy was awesome. one of the best races there, Max. So pumped for Fee.
Yeah, I wish it would have been, but
You wish it would have been
is
something
what it
else?
I wish Utruggy just slowly dies and goes away.
It's not dying. It's
But
getting strong. It's like baby's kid. It don't
Yeah.
die. It's multiplying. And I am all. That's going to be my next car, a E-Truggy.
Yeah.
No. So you're gonna hate what I have to say here soon. Let's touch on.
Oh yeah, we're now gonna talk about fifth scale. Oh
No,
my
I'm only
God.
gonna do 5 minutes on fifth scale, but we're gonna talk
Okay.
about some things first before we go on. The guy got a lot of hate. So let me tell you about Greg. Greg went so 40 plus. No, Greg only cares about 40 plus. He does not care about intermediate. Let's put it that way, people. He's only an intermediate because he can't run pro anymore. So he gets in 40 plus. He starts. I'm looking at his car and saying, this car looks like complete and total dog shit. It can no power, like it looks exactly like he looked when he did his intermediate main or whatever main he did at DNC. Just looks like crap. And I knew what the problem was right away. Tires. It sounds like it's too rich, but it's tires. So I go up to watch this main, and then the entire TLR Mafia, led by Barry Baker, proceeds to sit behind me and to my right. So that was 30 minutes of shit I had to take because Eddie Lorette, congratulations to Eddie Lorette, he drove a great race, beat Greg. And I had to hear Barry talk so much crap. And then like all the TLR guys are just laughing and I'm there by myself. And I'm just like, fuck, where's JQ and Max when you need them? I'm just there by myself, like deflecting, laughing. Because it was funny because Greg wasn't doing well. Barry goes, hey, you know what Mayako means in Japanese? Car that breaks a lot. I nearly died laughing when he said that. And then he was like, bring me on the podcast so I can critique this race and and critique this car. And all this like, oh, tell me, he was heated. I had to stand for 30 minutes of that shit from the team. I guess we earned it. So, but it was like,
yeah,
I'm always
But
going to take the shit for you guys.
Here's the thing for Barry though. When me and Joseph critique, we base it on facts, and that's what we do.
Oh my
So
gosh, you just
be
throwing more
prepared.
shots. You're just throwing more shots to Barry.
Yeah, but I love it. I love it to have beef with Barry.
Oh, it's good to have nemesises.
Yeah.
But they were super excited over that 40 plus win. Eddie Lorette drove well. He beat Greg by sorry. So TLR was super excited to win that. He drove well. He beat Greg by many seconds. And then when I saw Greg come in, and so I went, then it was Smoker's race, and I didn't watch that. One thing about Smoker, if you want to test durability of a car, let him drive it. Because he tested to the extreme. So I went down and sat off with Greg, right? And I knew, and I was just looking at him. He was like, yeah, you know what? I picked the wrong tires. I said, your car looked like crap, like caca, like, He's like, I know, it was shit. And he goes, I see your car looked just like it did at DNC. And I said, he goes, you know what I'm going to do? It's Vegas. I'm putting double dons on. And he's charging his battery with his 20-year-old charger that takes 30 minutes to charge up his battery. Then he won't get a new one. I'm like, they make batteries that you can, chargers that you can use off your phone and all that stuff. I like this. And he was so focused. And then he goes to me, Lefty. It was like, getting ready to go to his race. He goes, let's go, Lefty. I'm tired of playing with these intermediate guys. I'm going to show him who's boss now. And he went up there. And it was so funny. So now I was sitting with Pavitas and he goes, I love watching Greg Degani drive. It reminds me of 2002 all over again. He drives like it's 2002 and all he does is boner air. I was like, boner air? He's like, yeah, nose high everywhere.
Yeah,
Never
he
brings
jumps
it down.
like that. It's so funny. And the way like he drives, he always he sets up his car and then he just goes full power. Like the way he drives, it's so fun to drive because he drives like the cars are from 2002.
Yeah,
he has
that's
that
exactly what he drives like.
Like even Joseph has similar driving style to Greg, but he's sort of more advanced because he's been racing for longer. But yeah, Greg has that sort of 2002 driving style where he sets up his car and then he goes and he jumps nose high, and it's so funny.
But you know what? It's funny because Jimmy Babcock was like giving people hints how to beat him during the whole race. Like, look at Greg, just driving smooth out there, not making any mistakes. That's how you win races. And then like Drew Meshogan, his like Greg's buddy, who's like super fast, hot rod guy, super fast. He's just like, overtake Greg. I'm like, this kid shouldn't even be. He's super fast. He shouldn't be running intermediate, but he blew out so bad. And then Greg just kept it on all four and won. Like he didn't do anything special. He didn't make any mistakes. His car was good. He came in, and then then after that he planned his interview. It's like, what should I say? Should I say? Because this is the last interview of the week. So he made it good. and it pissed people off. But you know what? In Greg's defense, he always said everybody always counted him out. Even when he won the first ever American world champion. People criticized him and say he was lucky, but maybe a little bit, but he still was the first. I want people to understand he got a lot of hate because he got a lot of hate about running intermediate and what he says and all that stuff. And that's fine. You know what? Yeah. All these guys who are pissed off that Greg Degani beat him in intermediate, don't be. You all probably race way more than he does. You should be pissed off because he probably races a lot more than you.
Yeah.
Right? And you probably practice.
I don't think he has ever practiced in the last 5 years.
I messed that up. I said those guys on the intermediate out there at the track racing most weekends and practicing and all that stuff. Greg has raced the most this year that I've ever seen a race in 1 year, and he's done DNC, PMB, RCGP, and now SilverState. So he's done 4 races. That's it. He doesn't go practice. He might have went to.
Well, you know what? Actually, thanks to the fact that he went to RCGP, he got probably double the track time he has gotten in all the races in the last 2 years.
Probably, but he's getting a lot of hate on Facebook, and he don't care. He loves it. He's like, I still won.
Yeah,
I actually have his T2 trophy.
I gotta be honest, like watching Greg drive and watching his interviews are one of the only things like keeping me so excited to RC because like it's just amazing. Like he doesn't give a shit, but he still loves RC. He loves driving. He loves going to his races, and like he takes tire choice and setup and all that seriously. But otherwise, it's all fun for him. Oh, you got his TQ trophy. Wow! Did he sign it?
Oh, he did.
Nice.
I wanted to get one for the patrons, but I had nobody to ship it out. He won. That's it. He beat those guys. A lot of people were crying. They're crying all weekend because he was just in the race period.
Yeah.
So
is Cheeky racing anymore?
No, he didn't make it to this race.
Yeah, because I loved, like, you remember at PMB,
yes.
Degani and Cheeky, like we were pitting it with Mike Hill. Like, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Andrew Beauchamp. He came second. And Maddox Stritz, his people are in charge of, him and his dad are in charge of Channel Islands. They've done a great job. He's doing good. He's getting fast quick. So a couple of more shout outs that I wanted to shout out to. The Australians came. I got to meet all of those guys. Not too much Caleb Noble because he's just like pitting somewhere else, but like it was Jaden. He's from Jaden Jameson. He's from New Zealand. And then it was like Jackson Beal and his dad, and then Ben Sterling and another gentleman from Australia. They're all pitting with the techno guys. So I got to talk to them. I think Jackson Beal won intermediate e-buggy, I want to say. Yes, he did. Great result for the Australians. Man, I have to give the Australians some props. It always seems like they can produce some good racers. I mean, the Dexters came out to RCGP, did fucking great. You know, Kyle McBride comes internationally, does great. They got Alex Bernardzak coming up. Like, I can't wait to see him go internationally. I don't know too much about Ben Sterling. I know he's not on their level, those guys, but he's made a name for himself in America. Jaden Jameson from New Zealand was actually in the B main for Pro, I want to say Pro Buggy. So he's not that, you know, that's pretty good. Yeah, maybe C main. Maybe I'm getting a little excited. So
I mean, that would be pretty, because I mean, New Zealand has quite
a small RC culture.
Yeah, very small. That'll be not in the B. Could be Truggy too.
It could have been because they look the same now. So we'll figure it out.
Could be Truggy, but yeah, I will figure it out. But Yeah. Anyway,
It's good
like
to see.
it's nice. Yeah, I'd wish like Bernardjic would go to events too, like because
He was
he's
supposed to.
yeah,
He's going
yeah,
to the Worlds.
yeah. That's gonna be good to see
But no Kyle.
at the Worlds.
No Kyle at this race. Shocking. And I'm
Oh
just glad to
yeah,
see the Australians getting back to racing, like traveling and racing.
yeah. It's
So,
because Kyle always did SilverState. That was his like favorite race. I think
I
he
don't know,
won it.
dude.
He finished second a few times. He's been
No
good at this
idea.
race.
I don't know what to say, dude. I don't know what to say. There's definitely something not right there. Probably no budget. So,
Could be, yeah.
and then also special shout out to the Southeast. So, all right, I got to talk about these kids real fast before we go anywhere. So Greg calls me up one day and he goes, you know how back in the day, California used to be the place where all the fast kids were and blah, blah, blah. And everybody was fast and came out of SoCal. Not anymore. It's the Midwest. And because he was like, after DNC and RCGP, it's like, man, these kids are fast. And he's talking about like Bordons and Castons and those kids who are kind of, it's like RC split up in different levels. I was thinking about it this weekend. So we have the top 5 who are really good. Then you have like from 5 to 30, and that's even split up into different tiers. I would say from the top 5 down, maybe give or take a few in the top 5. In America, anyway, sorry, not worldwide, there's a lot of competition from that level down to about 30.
Yeah.
You know? And there's different tiers. So I think like the Joey Burdons, the Castons, Jermaine Robinson, Cade Burnett's, these type of kids, and David Olson's, these type of kids are...
Yeah, they haven't made their big main or big show yet, but they have the speed to make it.
They're getting there. They're like C main, knocking on B mains, you know what I mean? It's a progress, and it's looking very healthy. That's all I have to say. And this is Midwest, Southeast, and a lot of SoCal and all that stuff. But the young guys coming up right now, they're hungry. And we're going to be entertained for a long time with lots of good racing if they stay in RC.
Yeah.
So kudos to those guys. And like Greg said, he finally beat these kids. You know, I finally beat these kids. Like, it's good to see. David Olson, I think, won E-Truggy. I was super impressed with him. You know what I mean? I was impressed with him at RCGP. He's a kid I've kind of known for a long as well. And look, like, I'm just telling you, man, like Techno grooms them well, man. They got these young kids. They're doing well.
Yeah.
It's good to see. Good to see.
Yeah, Techno has been like one of the biggest brands growing up, kids. Like Associated has a lot of kids coming up, but that's mostly on the 10 scale side. They don't really have that 8 scale sort of kids coming up. TLR and Techno are doing the most in like bringing up new young talent
and HB
in America. HB too, but I don't know. I mean, I guess okay, I'll give it to HB too. But like TLR, like Taylor Sontag, what was his name? Charlie Concenteras in DNC.
Frankie Contreras, yeah.
Oh, Frankie,
not a good not a good SilverState for him.
Yeah, but I mean, these young drivers, like even Fuller's came out from TLR. Like that's what's coming out of TLR, and obviously like Techno, like, even Jones came out of TLR. Like Techno has like Wiggins and Van Dalen and Bourdon, all these sort of new age young drivers. TLR was sort of that before and still is to some extent. But yeah, Techno and TLR in my books are the number one, sort of bringing up new talent. And yeah, HP is good too, but they more like Pavides and Brunson and these guys, these sort of just barely switched to HP, and even Fuller.
Yeah, good stuff from Techno, TLR. It's good just to see young kids out there. It was Jermaine Robinson's birthday. Happy belated birthday to him. This week he went 16. This kid's getting older. So, all right. So we talked about all the positive stuff from this weekend and all that stuff. So I do have to talk about a couple of things that were on people's brains. And then I'm going to geek out on fifth scale for 5 minutes, and then that's it. So I think the biggest thing to come out of this race this weekend was the rough driving. I don't think I've been to a race where I've heard so many people complain about rough driving. People's getting mad at Jimmy. And I'll be like, Jimmy's an announcer, an RD. He can't call everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in Rhonda Drake, when they made her post, that's what really got traction. And there was a lot of people making posts. And even like friends that I talked to in the race for years.
I saw some guys saying, I'm quitting RC because of what I've taken out.
That was Cody. He was emotional. He's all right now. He's not quitting.
Yeah, but like, okay.
That's how the people are getting upset, man. I mean, look at Spencer Rifkin. He was upset with his takeout that happened to him, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
all right, let me finish, though. Let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is a positive thing. And I'll tell you why. So by Sunday, all I kept hearing from everybody's mouth, we need referees for next year. We need referees for next year. Well, I wonder where the fuck they got that idea from.
Yeah.
So the thing is, talking to Joey, and a lot of people complained. So Sunday came along, and like Jimmy was on it more. Like he was calling, he was just more, doing it. And look, I don't blame Jimmy. I don't blame that. They need to hire people to do this. The RD cannot do all of this when he can't run the race, can't organize everything, can't announce, and look out for every infraction there is. There has to be 2 referees or 1 up there, rotate them. They make those calls. They give warnings. They decide who gets stop and goes. Start doing that at the beginning of this race to the top guys, and all shit rolls downhill, and everybody will fall in place. Yeah. Finally, people are saying it. See, this is why I love the podcast. We beat down that freaking path, took all the heat. People saying how we criticize the races and hate them and all this type of stuff. Yeah. And now we heard things about referees and all this stuff. People say, well, Joey made all this money. He can. Yes, of course he can. Good. This is how things progress. Referees are needed.
Yeah, okay. You made quite a good twist of that. But yeah, actually that's true. We've been saying this for a long time. I love to beat dead horses, but like this horse has been beaten down so many times. Like, but yeah, and the next step will be that now that there will be maybe next year there will be referees. Then people will complain, oh, this ref, like they will post videos of a takeout and say, oh, this ref said this was my fault and I gotta stop.
Well, that's a process that comes later.
You know what I mean? But this will be a developing process. But if people want referees and if that will happen, we're moving in the right direction. And I'm really happy that people. And it was
so bad. The driving was so bad. Now I can't say I outright witnessed a bunch of it when I was watching. That Joey even came on before the Pro A-Main, a Nitro Buggy, and said, hey guys, you guys are the best in the business. Let's put on a show for these guys. Let's keep it as clean as possible. And I'm like, okay. So now guys are paying attention. That's good.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that. Now maybe other race promoters will follow suit.
Yeah, but even to be honest, I gotta say, give some sort of, put some blame on the pros, because like, especially in America where there isn't refereeing, there's a lot of really, really nasty takeouts, and these pros, like, no waiting, no nothing. They just, and a lot of it, because I know how these people drive and think, because I've spoken to them and I know sort of how at that level how good people are handling their cars at that level. A lot of the takeouts are purely intentional, and they know what they're doing. And even, well, I don't want to say in America, but because of the fact that there isn't much refereeing, it's much more visible. Yeah, it's much more visible. And there are so many of these sort of big debacles at the top level, or people will just straightly take someone out. And this is a problem everywhere, obviously. And a lot of the pros, especially if you are, like Joseph has said this plenty of times, but if you're someone who's first time in the A, you're like 4th or 3rd, and then there's some old guy like some guy who's always been there, they will just take you out. And this is not even like American thing. It's like everywhere this happens. And the pros often lack respect for the guys coming up. But when the pros lack having respect for each other and on that, then the racing just becomes ugly for everyone to watch. And that's something I've sort of seen happen in recent times. And that's why I wish refereeing would be coming much more a bigger thing. But like, yeah, like at the Euros, like last year or a few years ago, like people would be just like making a minor thing, like not even a really dirty move, and Stetson, who is often being the RD, he's calling it, and he's calling everyone, like Robert Batty. And I remember Robert. Yeah, and I remember Robert Bate arguing with Mao at Austria about a penalty he gave to him in Philippines. So like these
Really?
pros, like yeah, these guys take it down with some
Right.
heat, but like the RD needs to have a thick skin and
Mm.
put his hand where the things should be. So
I agree with you. Um, it's just good to see people thinking on a different level. Then obviously people were like, oh well, then he's gonna charge $110 and like to get the referees. I'm like, no, he makes enough money. He can hire 3 or 4 people.
yeah,
But I also, it comes down to fundamentals and basics. At least in Europe, everybody has a a federation for the individual country that answers to EFRA. And this is just what we're seeing in America is just, I've said it over and over again. It's the Wild West of RC, and there's no rules, and there's no federation. And I think people, and then you have a whole group of people coming into RC in the last 10 years who haven't learned any rules. You know what I mean? Or they don't even know anything about raw, anything about race etiquette, or what they learn from what they learn at their clubs. You know what I mean? So that's where it starts on a federational level, it starts on a regional level, and then it has to come out on a national level, and then on an international level. And like you said, these pro guys, I'm all for little rubbing is racing. I'm not all for, tempers do flare and takeouts happen. And Robin is racing, and that's all right too. But I think they know they can get away with it, so they do. And that's it.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a few videos from JBRL, which are just insane. So
right.
And the pro
entries, real quick, and then we're gonna go on 5th scale. So here we go with the great the big success of a race. Is this race successful because the amount of entries? So obviously their goal was to beat race time and PNB this year. There is definitely some beef right there. Don't let it be twisted that there is no beef right there. There's definitely beef between those two organizations. The RDs and Joey.
I wish there wasn't, because why would they be working against each other? The other one.
Well, it's all about the most interest and being.
Yeah, but I mean, they're definitely trying to beat each other. Instead, what they should be doing is like help each other, because other one's West Coast, other one's East Coast. It's not like race time is going to be, oh, I'm going to put up a race in California. No, they aren't. Joey was sort of hinting at the idea of doing an East Coast race, but I doubt that's going to happen now.
No, he's not. Yeah, I talked to him about it.
Yeah.
So what I think is, we all know that the entry count is the big, that's how these guys measure the success of the race.
Yeah.
I want to measure it in a different success for this race.
That's like having a big truck because you have a small penis.
Pretty much. So I wanted to compare these two races. Whereas PNB had more people, I would say, than this race. This race also had more classes. I think it broke E-Truggy up into sportsman, 40 plus and all that stuff. But like it wasn't that big, which I think is going to happen anyway in E-Truck on the East Coast. Anyway, it's a natural development because the class is getting so big. But I mean, at the end of the day, this race is also longer and it could accommodate more entries. So to be fair, we got in this race. I think the latest Greg got out was 1:00, on, I think it was Saturday night. Yeah. Cause I didn't stay for the pro e-buggy stuff. And that was the longest day. So still people, and what makes it comfortable with this race is that people can go and come. Like, okay, this is how I look at SilverState. It's getting better every year. It's in a location with thousands of people walking by and being there because there was a big bowling tournament going on and people are gambling. It's being promoted in there, but we need to figure out how to keep the people in there for a little bit. So people come in, it's still a little dusty. The announcers being, there's no professionalism. So the next evolution of this race is in a great location. We need to figure out how to just keep the dust on a little bit more and just get people there for some of the pro stuff and have a different announcer to this. Like that's the next evolution. How do we use this race to now, instead of having RC people fill in the stands, let's have spectators fill in the stands that don't know anything about RC.
And to be honest, like RC Tracks Las Vegas, that track looked amazing. Like when you walked in there, literally you're like, wow, even though you are not an RC guy. When you come to this, you're just like,
no, it's not that bad. Oh, it's, but I think they should.
I mean, no,
it's so much you can do. There's so much you can do. I would have like, I would. this is the race where you want to have your factory row and have all your pro guys dressed. Like, make a time for the public to come down and see it. But that's going to take planning and time and evolution too. So hopefully in a few years we can see that, and we could get there's people down there. That's my only gripe with this. Yes, I'm not saying nothing about entries. It's going to be big entries. You know why? It's in Vegas. It's convenient. People really want to come and party and then do the RC race on the side, which is what people done. And you know, it's hard to compare to that to like White Pines, Tennessee. You know, so. Both races, what it is, the beef between them, I think Joe has said that this is the biggest indoor race in the world. And now Dave and those guys, no, we are. So that's the big beef right there. And in the end, the only people that lose are the participants, because the more entrants at these races, the worse it is. But kudos to, I think that personally, so I did talk to Joey. I think the guys, look, I'm not taking nothing against this. They have to make money. I'm pretty sure this event costs a lot of money as well. Not saying that Dave's don't, but this is Vegas. We're talking about at a hotel. I'm pretty sure that's not cheap. So I don't know how much he makes on this, unfortunately. But I did talk to him about his race. So he says this is the second race in the U.S. Cup, Open Cup, I think it's called. And then he will do the Lone Star race, which is in a couple weeks in Texas. And then he's doing the final race at his track. I did not get the date. So he's still doing the U.S. Cup, and somebody will get $10,000. So that's good.
Well, good, I guess. No marketing.
All right.
Though.
So I waited all this time.
Oh no!
All this time. So I gotta finish. That was a great SilverState. If you're on the fence of going to this race, please go. You will enjoy it. You can. Like, people are taking their whole family. I'm not a big gambler. I'm not a guy that's gonna sit in the hotel and gamble and all that stuff all day. But you know, it's cool to people watch. They have a bowling alley too. You go up and bowl and all that. I wish I'd have known that. I went bowling. I loved it. I had a good time. I enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to going again next year. That's my thing. But I want to race a fifth scale next year. So.
Oh no.
The best way I can describe how I felt when I went over and saw these fifth scale cars was like a kid walking into a hobby shop for the first time ever. Or if you're an adult, a man walking into his first strip club ever. You know what I mean? So I went over there. So they held the fifth scale race, and a good thing they did, because them things were freaking loud. Actually, this would probably be a good place to have the actual race, because it's like a outdoor dirt area that they made the track in, and they pitted there. And now, when I went over there, it felt like I was at an RC race, you know, with the pits and all that type of stuff. I have to say, I don't know how Matt Olson does all this shit. This guy is racing, selling, helping people, RDing, announcing, all this type of stuff with the help of a couple people, and also filming and all that stuff. Like, his control of all of that. This dude is like a one-man. I got to give him some props, dude. I don't know how he does it, but he does it.
Yeah.
Dude, so it was like, I ran over there. You know, I did my walkabout. I'm geeking. They're loud. They're fucking loud, dude. Jesus, they were loud.
Yeah.
You had to put earplugs on. And then, like, but this is, I think that these caught people's attention more than what we was doing. One, they were loud. They were loud. They were outdoors, so it wasn't like, it was dusty. And they looked real. Like, and I don't know what you guys are used to in Europe. I think you have engine limits or whatever. These things ain't slow. Like, they are not slow. These things are producing like 8.
No, I mean, ours aren't slow either, but it's just, they're lazy, you know.
They look real. That's the whole point. No, they ain't that lazy. So I watched on Sunday, I watched, it was like the top heat, the last race, and it was like Kirkman, Steve Harris, Westergaard, he won. Matt was in it. The guy, Danny Sullivan, who's really good. So this is like the top guys. And they have to do a mandatory pit, right? Dude, I sat there with earplugs. I didn't see it. I stood on the railing getting roosted with dust. And this is my face. Like, I'm getting roosted with dust. And I'm not like, give me more.
Yeah. That's why I got the pink eye.
Dude, that's why I'm just like, after that race, I just was so pumped. Like, to me, when I watched that 30-minute final, that was the best racing of the whole weekend. They were bumping. It looked so real. I want one so bad. Fifth scale is the truth, Max. Two-stroke is the truth. Nitro's the glory. But that's the truth.
Thing is, when people age, at some point of their lives, they should have their eyesight gets worse. They need a bigger car to see it.
Well, Westergaard won, and he's still young.
Yeah, but Westergaard has a kid. He has a family. Like, he needs to get ready for that old lifestyle.
Well, I'm old, and I want a fifth scale.
Yeah. So,
you're trying to diss me here.
Your beard just says, yeah, I'm a guy who wants a fifth scale. So much gray.
I know, and if I grow it longer, I'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Good group of people. I mean, and I was surprised at how many were there. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And it just,
the cars are really cool. Like, I'm just kidding around here. I don't really care, like, if you run fifth scale or not. It's just,
dude.
Yeah, fifth scale is cool, but I don't see it. Like, that's not my interest. Like,
you should race. Remember the guy that wants you to come and race for him? You should do it.
Yeah.
You should do it. You should do it.
Yeah.
So also, this, in my opinion, is one of the things we should use to promote RC. They look real. They're fucking loud. You know, people, obviously we're not going to try and encourage people to get them because they're expensive.
They cost.
But I think they were supposed to do like an exhibition in the parking lot, but that never happened. I thought that would have been great. You know what I mean? Because they're just so big. And I just saw like even the RC guys were coming over and watching it. And like, I was watching it with Brandon Rose's dad, and he was like, wow, them things move. Like, he's got a Texas accent. He's like, wow, man, them things move. And I was like, yeah. They're pretty, like, everybody was just shocked. Yeah. And then like the battle between like Westergaard, Kirkman, and I go, just good. So Lefty is in one's fifth scale. Yeah, all about fifth scale life now. It's the truth.
Okay, can we now stop talking about fifth scale?
Dude, I can't. Honestly, the best way I could sum it up, I felt like a kid that walked into a hobby shop for the first time, looking at that stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't beat that feeling. That's what keeps my passion alive for RC. Seriously. I had a blast. Everybody should go to SilverState, in my opinion. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Vegas guy.
Yeah.
Huh?
That I can agree with. Go to SilverState, but don't fucking run fifth scale. Come on.
Fifth scale is the truth. And E-Truggy is growing. Good time. I had a blast.
E-Truggy is the fifth scale of 8 scale.
It's faster than anything out there, buddy.
It is, but it's you
and your hate.
Gross.
Go race that fifth scale for that dude. I had a blast. Congratulations to Ryan Mayfield on becoming Nitro Buggy champion. Congratulations to Tebow on his Truggy championship, and to Ryan Lutz on his E-Buggy championship. And everybody that raced and came out and braved the conditions. I hope everybody gets better. I really had a fun time meeting you guys. Italy for me next, dude. I'm excited. I had fun. Yeah. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun at DNC. I had a lot of fun at RCGP, but I had a lot of fun at this. I did.
Yeah.
You know, the ability to wake up in the morning, go downstairs and get a Starbucks, and then walk to the track. You know, coffee, and then walk to the track and be like, you're not even late. Like, you know what I mean? You showed up like 4 hours later than you normally would at a race, and you're not even late. Love it.
Yeah.
The only thing I would change is the pits. Like, I just don't, I like the pits back with tents.
Is it actually hot out? Is it hot?
It was warm outside. It was like, I saw dust storm, sandstorm. Got to see one of them, even though I've been in one before in Abu Dhabi. Dude, it was so dusty. It was like, at one point it was a big sandstorm. It was hazy. You couldn't even see. Yeah. So I wouldn't have pitted. I would have pitted on. It was so windy, so much wind ripping through there.
Yeah,
and it was AC inside, by the way. So
yeah, so it's
all
better
nice
inside.
Bathrooms.
You should. They should have like walls to keep the dust out a bit. I think, like some sort of wall system, but that would be expensive and hard to keep up.
It's not that bad. I've been to worse.
Yeah.
Been through worse. All right, Max. I think that's it for our notes. Anything you want to add before we go on? We leave for the day. We've been an hour over schedule.
Yeah, we did. But I mean, we had some good talks. Only thing I'd add is please join the Discord. If you have a fifth scale, post a picture of it and tag me so I can ban you from the Discord. I won't, but yeah, post your
Tag
fifth scale
JQ and tell him, yeah, I want to see JQ versus Westergaard, fifth scale. And I want to race.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that could be good. But yeah, join the Discord, post a picture of your fifth scale, and tag Joseph and me in it. So,
and me, because I'm gonna geek out on it.
Oh yeah, tag Keenan too, because he's gonna love it.
Oh, also, what KV motor should I run in my Techno MT410 and ESC system should I run, and batteries? Let me know, because I'm gonna be building that. I'm actually gonna build in my Akko here soon too, believe it or not.
One day. Maybe you'll have it. Maybe you'll have it ready when we're coming out with the new model next year.
Maybe. Anyway, Max, I think that's it. Congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to Dart. Next big race is Euro e-buggy race for us. I think we're gonna look at.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be back to I think we're gonna do if there's a race this weekend, we'll do Monday news and then Friday podcast. Maybe not. We'll see how things go. But this is just our catch up. I needed a day off to just catch myself, which I took. And I still need some time off. So, Max, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your month off. Then you get back to work. I hope you hit the track here soon. And I'll see you next week, good buddy.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah.
Keep RC fun.
What? Yeah, keep RC fun. RC's for everybody. Shout out to all the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Greatly appreciate it. Support for all the support. Keep sharing, keep liking, leaving reviews. I really hope you guys can share our YouTube stuff. I really want to grow that. I know we got to put some work into our YouTube stuff as well. I have a video coming out of the. I forgot to even talk about this, but real quick, I did talk to the guy with the magnetic brakes. He was there.
Yeah.
I got a video with him. He then let Wally drive it, and then I talked to Wally after he drove it, and he says he loves them. They're great. I know you guys are against innovation, but this is pretty cool, and if it works, it's even better.
What? Me against innovation?
Yeah, well, I was telling Greg about it, and everyone was like, "Why we have this? It's worked all these years." But this, you know how that goes. So I did do an interview with him. I'm going to edit that video and probably get it up this week as well. I think these might work, Max. I think they might work.
That could be cool.
It will be cool.
Yeah.
So shout out to the NNRC squad. Hit that like button, that sub button on YouTube, and keep sharing our stuff. Shout out to all the patrons of the podcast. We can't do it without you guys. Greatly appreciate your support. We're going to probably do something with you guys next week or later on this week while I'm building my car. If you wish to be a patron, you can. The link is in the written description of this podcast. Thank you for all the support. Thank you to all the awesome sponsors and companies that support the NNRC. They are Invisible Speed, TZO 200 Tires, High Tech RC, TNR Fuels, Beach RC, Mayako, Techno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, RCGP, JTP RC, and the DR Race Shop. Showing those guys some love, shows us some love. Max, that's it. We talked for 2 hours. We're out. I'll see you later, dude. Short outro. Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. And fifth scale is the truth. Truggy for the win. I got him. Short intro.